A background dancer in this movie is a real Olympic gold medalist. Two other background dancers are now married to two of its actual stars. The bad boy who rides a motorcycle onto a ballet stage wasn't acting. That's genuinely what he rides in real life. And the awkward new girl chasing a dream that keeps rejecting her would, 25 years later, become the first Dominican American in history to win an Academy Award. Released on the 12th of May, 2000, Center Stage follows 12 teenagers competing for a handful of spots at the fictional American Ballet Academy in New York. So where did the real dancers and actors behind it end up? Amanda Schull plays Jody Sawyer, the small-town transplant whose imperfect turnout and wrong feet make her a coach's project rather than a prodigy, and whose refusal to quit becomes the film's entire emotional engine. It was Schull's film debut, and the studio cast her after a nationwide search for an actual dancer rather than a trained actress, a decision that mirrored her real life almost exactly. Amanda Schull was born the 26th of August, 1978, in Honolulu, Hawaii, the daughter of Susan Schull, an interior designer and the current president of Ballet Hawaii, and an attorney father. She trained at Hawaii State Ballet under John Landowski, attended Punahou School, and won a scholarship to Indiana University before a summer intensive at the San Francisco Ballet School led to an apprenticeship offer in 1999. She was still deciding her future with the company when producers cast her as Jody, and once filming wrapped, she went straight back to San Francisco Ballet and danced professionally in its corps de ballet for several more years. By her own account, the film's dialogue-heavy scenes made her far more nervous than any of the choreography, since acting was the part of the job that hadn't come naturally to her yet, and she said watching Ethan Stiefel and Sasha Radetsky pick up complex choreography in a matter of minutes during rehearsals left her genuinely stunned by how far ahead of her they were as trained company dancers. After Center Stage, Amanda Schull didn't fully commit to acting until she retired from San Francisco Ballet in April 2006. She built steady recurring roles across One Tree Hill, playing a dual role as a deceased wife's spirit and a woman who resembles her, and Pretty Little Liars appeared opposite Leonardo DiCaprio in Clint Eastwood's J. Edgar in 2011, then returned to ballet-adjacent material as Elizabeth Liz Mackey in 2010's Mao's Last Dancer, where she met her husband, George Wilson, on set. She led Sci-Fi's time travel drama 12 Monkeys for 4 seasons starting in 2015, playing virologist Dr. Cassandra Rayleigh opposite Aaron Stanford, then joined USA's Suits as paralegal-turned-lawyer Katrina Bennett, stepping into the role of series regular the same season Meghan Markle exited the show to marry into the British royal family, before wrapping up her run there in 2019. She married Wilson in 2011, and the couple welcomed a son, George Patterson Wilson VI, in February 2020. She also picked up a guest spot on NCIS in 2022. In September 2024, she was cast in a recurring role on Amazon's Spider Noir. For the film's 25th anniversary in May 2025, Schull posted a reflection online, calling it a gift in ways she still can't fully put into words, and asked point blank in late 2024 whether a Center Stage reboot could ever actually happen. She didn't rule it out, telling a reporter only that there's a world where it could. She is 47 years old as of July 2026. Zoe Saldana plays Eva Rodriguez, the fiery, sharp-tongued dancer with real talent and a real chip on her shoulder, whose repeated clashes with authority nearly cost her a spot before the film's ending, finally gives her the validation she spent the whole movie chasing. It was also Saldana's film debut. Zoe Saldana was born Zoe Yadira Saldana Nazario on the 19th of June, 1978, in Passaic, New Jersey, to a Dominican father and a mother of mixed Dominican and Puerto Rican descent. The family spoke Spanish at home. When she was 9, her father died in a car accident, and her mother sent her and her 2 sisters to live with relatives in the Dominican Republic, where she trained in ballet, jazz, and modern dance at the Ecos Espacio de Danza Academy, though she said she eventually walked away from ballet specifically because she didn't have the feet and had too much pride to spend a career in the corps rather than Center Stage. She returned to New York at 17, performed with the Faces Theater Group and the New York Youth Theater, and was discovered by a talent agency after a production of Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, landing her a guest spot on Law & Order in 1999, a year before Center Stage made her a movie actress. After Center Stage, Zoe Saldana spent the early 2000s building towards stardom with the teen comedy Get Over It, Crossroads opposite Britney Spears' Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl, and played an immigration officer opposite Tom Hanks in Steven Spielberg's The Terminal in 2004, before the run that defined her career. Nyota Uhura in the rebooted Star Trek franchise, Neytiri in James Cameron's Avatar, Still, adjusted for nothing, one of the highest-grossing films ever made, and Gamora across the Guardians of the Galaxy films and the wider Marvel Cinematic Universe. She received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 2018. In 2018, she also founded Say, a digital media company built around Latino and Afro-Latino stories, and Time magazine has since named her one of its 100 most influential people in the world twice, in 2023 and again in 2026. She married Italian artist and filmmaker Marco Perego in 2013 and took his surname. They have 3 sons, twins Sai and Bowie, and younger son Zen. Starting in 2023, she starred in and executive produced Taylor Sheridan's Paramount Plus military drama, Special Ops, Lioness. In 2024, she played defense attorney Rita Mora Castro in the musical crime film Emilia Perez, sharing the Cannes Best Actress prize with her co-stars before sweeping the Golden Globe, BAFTA, SAG Award, and, in March 2025, the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress, becoming the first Dominican-American actress in history to win an Oscar, a film whose awards run was later overshadowed by a separate controversy involving one of her co-stars' old social media posts, though Saldana's own performance remained widely and consistently praised throughout. She also voiced a role in Pixar's Elio in 2025, and following the release of Avatar: Fire and Ash, she became the highest-grossing lead actor in film history. She is 48 years old as of July 2026. Ethan Stiefel plays Cooper Nielsen, the company's electrifying, self-absorbed star dancer and Jody's love interest, a man whose failed marriage and creative ambition drive the film's central romantic ballet. Stiefel wasn't performing the part of a rebellious virtuoso, he simply was one. Ethan Stiefel was born the 13th of February 1973 in Tyrone, Pennsylvania, and began ballet training at 8 in Madison, Wisconsin. He joined the Corps de Ballet of New York City Ballet at 16, dancing principal roles in works by George Balanchine, Jerome Robbins, and William Forsythe, took a year's leave to dance with Zurich Ballet, returned as a soloist, and was promoted to principal dancer by 1995. Along the way, he won a silver medal at the 1989 Prix de Lausanne, received a Princess Grace Foundation grant, and picked up a Benoit de la Danse nomination, ballet's rough equivalent of an Oscar nod, as one of the field's rising stars. He has cited Mikhail Baryshnikov as the idol who shaped his entire outlook on dance. In 1997, he moved to American Ballet Theatre as a principal, going on to guest with the Mariinsky Ballet, the Royal Ballet, and the Australian Ballet, where he made his 2007 debut in Rudolf Nuriev's staging of Don Quixote, 3 years into his ABT tenure, when Center Stage cast him as its resident bad boy. After Center Stage, Ethan Stiefel remained one of ABT's most celebrated principals, at his peak widely regarded as among the greatest male ballet dancers alive, before retiring from performance in July 2012, giving his farewell performance as Ali the Slave in Le Corsaire. He served as Dean of the School of Dance at the University of North Carolina School of the Arts, then as Artistic Director of the Royal New Zealand Ballet from 2011 to 2014. His years-long relationship with fellow ABT principal Gillian Murphy, which predated Center Stage, led to a 2011 proposal and a September 2015 wedding. Their son, Axe, was born in 2019. Stiefel went on to lead American Repertory Ballet as Artistic Director, choreographing original works including Frontier for the Washington Ballet in 2017, Woodwork in 2019, and 2025's Spirit of the Highlands. In April 2025, he was named senior faculty at ABT's own Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis School, teaching decades later at the very institution where his own career began. He is 53 years old as of July 2026. Peter Gallagher plays Jonathan Reeves, the American Ballet Company's embattled artistic director, a man whose professional judgment about which dancers to keep is complicated by his crumbling marriage and his lingering feelings for his ex-wife. It's a small enough part that plenty of viewers didn't clock at the time that they were watching an actor about to become one of the most recognizable TV fathers in America. Peter Gallagher was born the 19th of August, 1955, in New York City, the youngest of 3 children of an advertising executive father and a bacteriologist mother, and was raised in Armonk, New York. He studied economics and theater at Tufts University, sang with the a cappella group the Beelzebubs, and made his Broadway debut in a 1977 revival of Hair before landing the lead in Grease the following year. Tufts later honored him with both its P.T. Barnum Award and its Light on the Hill Award for his work in entertainment. His film debut came in 1980's The Idolmaker, and he broke through 9 years later in Steven Soderbergh's Sex, Lies, and Videotape. By the time Center Stage cast him, he'd already starred as Sky Masterson in the celebrated 1992 Broadway revival of Guys and Dolls and appeared in American Beauty the year before, and his distinctive thick eyebrows had already become something of a trademark that critics never seemed to stop mentioning. After Center Stage, Peter Gallagher landed the role he's still best known for. Sandy Cohen, the loving, wisecracking patriarch of Fox's The O.C. from 2003 to 2007, a performance popular enough that TV Guide once ranked Sandy Cohen the 25th greatest TV dad of all time, and Gallagher still hosts an annual scholarship ceremony called the Sandys in the character's honor. He also released a studio album, 7 Days in Memphis, in 2005, which included a cover of Solomon Burke's Don't Give Up on Me that had already been featured in an episode of The O.C. His film work continued alongside all of it, including Mr. Deeds in 2002, Burlesque in 2010, and Step Up Revolution in 2012. He went on to recurring roles on Covert Affairs, Grace and Frankie, and Grey's Anatomy, where he enjoyed a reunion with former O.C. co-star Chris Carmack, whom he's said seemed just as talented and twice as strong a guitarist as he remembered, played a father with a degenerative brain disease in the first season of NBC's Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist in 2020, and voiced a role in Apple TV Plus's animated Wondla. He has been married to Paula Harwood, whom he met at Tufts since 1983. Their daughter Catherine is an actress and singer, and their son James is a filmmaker. He turned 70 in August 2025. Donna Murphy plays Juliette Simone, the Academy's demanding, exacting ballet mistress, a role that required no dance training at all, despite Murphy sharing the screen with some of the best real dancers in the country. She'd already won 2 Tony Awards by the time she took the part. Donna Murphy was born the 7th of March 1959 in Corona, Queens, the eldest of 7 children of an aerospace engineer father, and grew up largely in Massachusetts. She dropped out of NYU's drama program in her sophomore year after landing an understudy role in the original 1979 Broadway production of They're Playing Our Song, and spent the 1980s working her way up through New York theater. She won her first Tony Award for playing the obsessive, disfigured Fosca in Stephen Sondheim's Passion in 1994, then won a second for Anna Leonowens in the 1996 revival of The King and I, a pair of wins that made her one of Broadway's most respected leading ladies well before Hollywood paid much attention. After Center Stage, Donna Murphy kept moving fluidly between stage and screen. Anage opposite Patrick Stewart in Star Trek, Insurrection, Rosalie Octavius in Spider-Man 2, and 3 more Tony nominations for Wonderful Town, Love Music, and The People in the Picture, alongside film work in World Trade Center, The Fountain, The Nanny Diaries, and The Bourne Legacy. Variety once named her one of 3 legit luminaries in its Women's Impact issue, alongside Joan Didion and Christine Ebersole. She also showed a comedic side as a neurotic psychiatrist on ABC's short-lived sitcom What About Joan, and won a Daytime Emmy in 1997 for a guest turn in the HBO anthology series Life Stories, Families in Crisis. In 2010, she voiced the villainous Mother Gothel in Disney's Tangled, singing Mother Knows Best, in a performance many consider one of the studio's best animated villain turns of the last 2 decades. She shared the role of Dolly Gallagher Levi with Bette Midler in the Tony-winning 2017 revival of Hello, Dolly, played the witch opposite Amy Adams in Shakespeare in the park's 50th anniversary Into the Woods, and since 2022 has played the imperious Caroline Schermerhorn Astor on HBO's The Gilded Age, which was renewed for a 4th season in 2026. She is 67 years old as of July 2026. Susan May Pratt plays Maureen Cummings, the Academy's most gifted and most fragile student, a technically flawless dancer whose overbearing mother and crumbling relationship with food push her toward the film's most serious storyline. Pratt had no ballet training at all before landing the role of the school's supposed best dancer. Susan May Pratt was born the 8th of February 1974 in East Lansing, Michigan, the daughter of a Michigan State University physics professor, and left high school at 16 to model in Italy and Japan before returning to the U.S. and studying at Simon's Rock College of Bard. By 1999, the year before Center Stage, she'd already appeared in both 10 Things I Hate About You and Drive Me Crazy, making her one of the most ubiquitous new faces in teen cinema without ever quite becoming a headliner in her own right. After Center Stage, Susan May Pratt continued working steadily in guest roles across Mad Men, Private Practice, and Masters of Sex, while gradually stepping back from acting to focus on her family. She met actor Kenneth Mitchell, later known for Star Trek Discovery and Captain Marvel, on the set of the 2002 TV movie Charms for the Easy Life, and married him in 2006. They had 2 children, Lila and Callum. In 2018, Mitchell was diagnosed with ALS, and Pratt spent the following years as his caregiver, while also working toward a graduate path in occupational therapy at USC. Mitchell died from complications of the disease on the 24th of February February 2024 at 49. Pratt has continued her studies since and become a vocal advocate for ALS research and awareness in his memory. She is 52 years old as of July 2026. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. We release new videos every week. Sasha Radetsky plays Charlie Sims, the earnest, down-to-earth new arrival from Seattle whose quiet crush on Jody eventually wins out over her infatuation with Cooper. Radetsky was a real member of American Ballet Theater's Corps de Ballet at the time, and he'd actually auditioned for a different role entirely. Sasha Radetsky was born the 29th of March 1977 in Santa Cruz, California, and began ballet in the San Francisco Bay Area before being invited at 15 to train at Moscow's Bolshoi Academy and later Washington, D.C.'s Kirov Academy. He joined American Ballet Theater as an apprentice in 1995 and was a Corps de Ballet member when Center Stage was cast. He'd originally read for the role of Sergei, the homesick Russian dancer, before landing Charlie instead. He also appeared as the romantic lead in Mandy Moore's music video for the film's signature single, I Wanna Be With You. After Center Stage, Sasha Radetsky was promoted to soloist at ABT in 2003, spent a stretch dancing as a principal with the Dutch National Ballet, where his repertoire included Albrecht and Giselle and Macedo in Don Giovanni, and returned to ABT before retiring from performance in 2014. He starred as Ross in the Starz drama Flesh and Bone. He married fellow ABT dancer Stella Abrera in 2006. She went on to become the company's first Filipina-American principal dancer before retiring in 2020 to eventually lead the ABT Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis School. In January 2026, after 20 years of marriage, the couple welcomed their first child, a son. Radetsky has said he still gets recognized for Center Stage in the most unlikely places, TSA lines, grocery checkouts more than 2 decades later. He is 49 years old as of July 2026. Julie Kent plays Kathleen Donahue, Jonathan's former star dancer and ex-wife, whose past affair with Cooper still quietly haunts the company years later. Like her castmates Stiefel and Radetsky, Kent wasn't simulating a ballet career for the cameras. She was already one of the most accomplished ballerinas in the country. Julie Kent was born Julie Cox on the 11th of July 1969 in Bethesda, Maryland, to a nuclear physicist father and a mother from New Zealand who had herself trained as a ballet dancer before becoming a flight attendant. She began ballet at 8, trained with Hortensia Fonseca at the Academy of the Maryland Youth Ballet, and was still a teenager when Mikhail Baryshnikov cast her opposite himself in the 1987 film Dancers, suggesting she change her stage name from Julie Cox, which she did at his urging. She joined American Ballet Theater as an apprentice in 1985, and by the time Center Stage cast her as Kathleen, she'd already been promoted to principal dancer and become the first American ever to win the Eric Brune Prize. In 2000, the same year the film was released, Kent also became the first American ever to win the Prix Benoit de la Danse, often described as ballet's equivalent of an Oscar. After Center Stage, Julie Kent went on dancing at American Ballet Theater for another 15 years, eventually becoming the longest-serving principal dancer in the company's history across a 29-year career. Along the way, People magazine named her one of its 50 most beautiful people in 1993. In July 2023, she became co-artistic director of the Houston Ballet alongside Stanton Welch, and the pair opened their 2025 to 2026 season with a revival of On Again, a ballet Kent herself danced for years as a principal. She has been married to fellow former ABT principal Victor Barbie since 1996. They have 2 children. She is 56 years old as of July 2026. Ayon Bailey plays Jim Gordon, a Columbia pre-med student who becomes Maureen's boyfriend and, eventually, the reason she starts to believe there's a life for her outside the ballet studio. Ayon Bailey was born the 8th of June, 1976, and grew up in California's Santa Ynez Valley, where his father ran a small charter airline and gave him his first flying lesson at 12. He trained at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts in New York, made his screen debut in a 1998 episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and appeared in both Fight Club and Almost Famous the same year Center Stage came out. After Center Stage, Ayon Bailey landed his breakout role the following year as Private David Kenyon Webster in HBO's Band of Brothers, and was later named one of People magazine's 50 most eligible bachelors. He also starred opposite Antonio Banderas in the HBO film and starring Pancho Villa as himself, and spent half a season as a recurring doctor on ER. He won a Daytime Emmy for the TV movie Life of the Party opposite Ellen Pompeo, screen tested for the title role in Batman Batman Begins before it went to Christian Bale, and built a long recurring career across covert affairs, Once Upon a Time as August Booth/Pinocchio, and Stalker. Off-camera, a trip to Peru, where he watched a group of children walk 24 miles on foot just to reach school, inspired him to create Imagine This, a philanthropy-focused reality format built around short-term community projects around the world. He married Canadian theater director Wayne Mengesha in 2011. They have 2 sons. Since 2022, he has starred as Jim Matthews in the MGM Plus horror series From, with a 4th season expected in 2026. He is 50 years old as of July 2026. Deborah Monk plays Nancy Cummings, Maureen's controlling ex-dancer stage mother, whose pressure is quietly presented as one of the more damaging forces in the entire film. It's a small role for an actress who'd already won a Tony Award for Best Featured Actress years before this movie was made. Deborah Monk was born the 27th of February 1949 in Middletown, Ohio, earned a Master of Fine Arts from Southern Methodist University, and first made her name as a co-writer and co-star of the Tony-nominated musical revue Pump Boys and Dinettes in 1982. She won her Tony Award for Best Featured Actress in a play for Redwood Curtain in 1993. Her Broadway resume eventually ran to more than a dozen productions, including Chicago and Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, and she also won an Obie Award in 2000 for The Time of the Cuckoo. After Center Stage, Deborah Monk continued working prolifically across film, television, and theater, winning a Primetime Emmy Award for her recurring role as Katie Sipowicz on NYPD Blue, and appearing in Grey's Anatomy, Damages, and Glee. Since 2022, she has played Mrs. Armstrong on HBO's The Gilded Age, earning a 2024 Screen Actors Guild Ensemble nomination alongside co-stars Christine Baranski and Carrie Coon. She is 77 years old as of July 2026. Ilya Kulik plays Sergei, the homesick Russian dancer pining for his girlfriend back in San Francisco, a small supporting role for a performer who, at the time, was one of the most famous athletes on the planet. Ilya Kulik was born the 23rd of May, 1977 in Moscow and began skating at 5. He won the World Junior title and the European Championship at 17. Then, at 20, won the gold medal in men's singles figure skating at the 1998 Nagano Olympics, becoming only the second man in the sport's history to win Olympic gold on his first attempt. He retired from competition almost immediately afterward due to a chronic back injury and turned professional, touring with Stars on Ice, right around the time Center Stage cast him in what remains his only substantial acting role. After Center Stage, Ilya Kulik toured for years as a professional skater across Stars on Ice, Champions on Ice, and international ice shows, married fellow Olympic figure skating champion Ekaterina Gordeva in 2002, and opened a training rink with her in Southern California. The couple divorced in 2016. He is 49 years old as of July 2026. Shaquem Evans plays Eric O. Jones, the Academy's charismatic, openly gay dancer and Eva's closest friend, whose stage name is a tribute to his idol Oprah Winfrey, and whose devastating mid-film injury reshapes the entire final act. Shaquem Evans graduated with honors from Carnegie Mellon University's School of Drama, having already worked as a child actor playing Tito Jackson in the 1992 miniseries The Jacksons: An American Dream. His exact birth year has never been made public, though his early 1990s child acting credits suggest he's in his late 40s as of this video. After Center Stage, Shaquem Evans built a steady career in musical theater. He appeared in the 2010 comedy The Other Guys. In recent years, Evans has largely stepped away from performing to focus on health and fitness. 12 teenagers auditioned their way into a fictional ballet academy 26 years ago, and the real dancers and actors who played them scattered into lives almost stranger than the movie's plot. An Olympic figure skater who came back decades later to skate in memory of his own student, a real-life ballet marriage that waited 20 years to have its first child, a Tony winner who's now spent longer playing Mrs. Astor on television than she ever spent playing a ballet teacher on film, and a movie debut that would, a quarter century later, end in an Academy Award and the title of highest grossing actress alive. Not one of them stayed still. Center Stage never fully escaped its modest budget or its mixed reviews. It outlived both anyway, and so it turns out has almost everyone in it. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss our latest Where Are They Now videos exploring your favorite casts from the past.